Good evening. It's evening here in Melbourne, Australia, and we have just come from listening to Pastor Tom Inglis from Sydney, Australia. But he served for many years at Rema Church in Randburg, South Africa. He briefly spoke today regarding that before he spoke in the conference at the church we attend here in Melbourne. And I want to call him Apostle of Worship because of the depth and the level of revelation of thanksgiving, praise, and worship. And he made me think of South Africa in many ways as I've been reflecting on the issue of fatherhood, that South Africa, even more than Kenya, is facing that crisis. More than 60% of South Africans are fatherless. And it took me to the book of Genesis, chapter 1 and 2. God revealed himself as a father to Adam. And I looked at a few scriptures of how God blessed Adam and said to him, be fruitful and multiply. And those are qualities of a father. When you talk about fatherhood, fatherhood has got many dimensions. There is one which you can talk about formation. God made Adam in his own image. And fatherhood is about producing after our own image, or after our own spiritual DNA, or after our own physical DNA. Having children that reflect our attributes. And it's usually very, it's interesting to note that fathers that carry an apostolic DNA produce sons and daughters that carry an apostolic or prophetic or pastorate DNA. And I can relate this even with my biological father, given that he was very committed to missions within the Presbyterian Church. I am here doing missions in Australia. I've done it in the continent of Africa. I was talking to one of our Brazilian friends of how I went to Chile, and you can see that by virtue that my father said yes to missions, he produced a son after his own missional image. And here I am, because fathers are feathers. They make us fly. And so when you are a father, you produce after your own image. But even a better picture. If the pictures were black and white during my father's time, we are now the pictures that are of color. You see what I mean? A better image, a clearer image. Sons and daughters need to be a clearer image of their father. So Apostle Dungulu telling me that I should not lock the Kingdom Age network of apostles and prophets to sons, that I should expand it to fathers. And Apostle Dungulu is a father of fathers in Soweto, or in South Africa. And so we started to discuss about apostolic fathers and the whole issue of the apostolic not having just a physical constituency, that the apostolic ministry has a wider constituency. So all these random thoughts were running through my mind today as we listen to Pastor Apostle Tom Inglis here in Melbourne, Australia. So I pray that we are going to go to the original purpose of the story of Adam, and that which we have lost in terms of duplicating ourselves in the right, not the broken image. We need to produce ourselves in the image that's not broken. So hence the call for us to go back to the original fatherhood. It's F for fathers have a responsibility to create after their own DNA. Secondly, which is formation. Then secondly, they have an affirmation mandate, which is to bless. They have a mandate to teach their children. They have a mandate to hedge, to put a hedge for hedge, which is like a fence to create boundaries. And E, they have they have a mandate to even name their Eves, which is he named Eve and said she shall be the mother of many nations. So giving purpose and direction to their families and to the wife. So if they don't have the purpose and they don't know how to name, or they themselves are struggling with their own names, and when I say names, they are struggling with their own purpose and destiny. How are they going to name their wives and children? And they have a responsibility to do work. The man was given work, he was given land. And so God was showing himself as a father for the fall of man in Genesis chapter 3. Still thinking in terms of fatherhood in our continent. I've moved a little bit from Kenya because of the speaker of today's conference. He was from South Africa, where we lived for so many years. And the men before, during the time of apartheid, would work in mines and leave women alone in villages. I remember men would go form families around the mines, and while the women were left in big numbers in the villages. So this is what provoked this thought. The Lord richly bless you, and I pray that we shall be restored in our fatherhood. God bless you. Bye.